Taylor Swift and Beyonce's shows are giving the U.S. economy an actual boost.
The world will mark an important milestone.
Racing against time to find that missing submersible.
I don't think that we can ever have peace with my family unless the truth is out there.
Artificial intelligence took center stage in the tech world.
This is a remarkable time to be working on artificial intelligence. But as this technology advances, we understand that people are anxious.
I regret to inform you that the Twitter bird logo was euthanized this morning and replaced with this X logo.
It's taking its biggest swing at Twitter yet. Its new platform, Threads, launched to the public last night.
Mr. Chu, does TikTok access the home Wi-Fi network?
2023 is said to be the warmest year on record. That's according to the World Meteorological Organization.
We're going to have more heat waves, more flooding, more wildfires. You can see how that line is basically going up, starting from 1895 and right into today.
In California, dangerous waves are creating havoc along the Pacific coast to end the year. Powerful storms are churning up ocean water, bringing flooding and damaging structures near the water.
2023 has been declared the worst year ever for wildfires in Canada. More than 76,000 square kilometers of land has burned since January the 1st.
Now, a growing number of Democrats are calling on President Biden to stop massive new fossil fuel developments.
New Delhi is one of the world's most polluted cities. Now it's closed school doors for the entire week, so children can stay inside away from the smog.
After a decade-long campaign, climate activists say more than 1,600 institutions have now cut ties with the fossil fuel industry and divested some $41 trillion in assets.
2023 underscored the undeniable reality of climate change.
President Biden ended the federal government's COVID-19 emergency measures.
The tensions between China and the United States are now drawing in the Philippines. The Chinese embassy in Manila has accused Washington of stirring up trouble in the disputed South China Sea.
The giant Chinese balloon that had been floating across parts of the United States has been shot down by an American fighter jet.
North Korean leader Kim Jong-un arrived in Russia on Tuesday ahead of an expected meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin. US officials said the talks could advance ammunition sales between the two countries, as Moscow looks to replenish a weapons stockpile depleted by the war in Ukraine.
India's democracy turned a symbolic page as the country's elected members officially moved to a new parliament.
It took 15 rounds of voting for Kevin McCarthy to be elected the Speaker in the first place.
It's not been elected. Not been elected. It's not been elected.
In a historic move, the upper house of the parliament, that is the Rajya Sabha, unanimously passed the Women's Reservation Bill after an 11-hour debate.
Mexico's Supreme Court has declared loudly and clearly that access to abortion care is a human right, and any effort to stop it is a violation of those rights. President Xi as a dictator?
Well, look, he is. I mean, he's a dictator in the sense that he is a guy who runs a country that is a communist country that's based on one government totally different than ours.
I mean, you can see in 5 of the 6, they have Donald Trump ahead, including by a double-digit margin.
Joe Biden is very much alive and running for re-election.
Stunning developments in Israel as Palestinian militants fired thousands of rockets into Israel overnight in a surprise assault by land, sea, and air. Hamas releasing this video of armed militants crossing into Israel from Gaza. ABC News confirming that at least 50 Israelis are being held hostage right now. The death toll climbing with more than 300 now dead and thousands injured.
אזרחי ישראל, אנחנו במלחמה, לא במבצע.
Dozens of Israeli airstrikes pounded Gaza into Wednesday, destroying homes, hospitals, and schools.
More airstrikes demolished entire neighborhoods in Gaza overnight as Israel continues its retaliation against the Hamas militant group.
Israeli soldiers positioned themselves for a potential ground invasion of Gaza.
Russia's Luna 25 spacecraft has apparently crashed into the moon.
Sir, we have achieved soft landing on the moon. India is on the moon.
Our government has made contact with intelligent extraterrestrials.
Something I can't discuss in public setting.
And now, NASA's first mission to deliver the largest sample collected from an asteroid to Earth.
It has been 1 year since Russia began its full-scale invasion of Ukraine.
If Russia stops fighting and leaves Ukraine, the war ends. If Ukraine stops fighting, Ukraine ends.
Fighting intensifies between Sudan's armed forces and the rebel Rapid Support Forces.
Over 1,500 pro-Bolsonaro supporters had been arrested after they stormed government buildings in Brasilia.
The situation in Manipur has been tense. The photos confirm news that no parent wants to hear.
The global economic outlook for this year might be less gloomy than previously predicted, although that's not the case for the UK. Britain is the only member of the Group of 7 nations whose economy is likely to shrink in 2023.
First Republic Bank has become the second largest bank failure in U.S. history. Regulators have seized the bank, sold off most of its assets to JP Morgan Chase in a rescue deal as America's banking crisis flares up again.
A rough week for the banking industry.
The collapse of Silicon Valley Bank. The second biggest bank collapse in U.S. history.
The world's second largest economy is facing the specter of deflation.
At the Capitol, the U.S. could fail to meet its debt obligations sooner than expected. The Treasury Secretary, Janet Yellen, now says the U.S. could run out of measures to pay its debt obligations by June 1st.
Earlier this week, the International Monetary Fund released its global economic outlook, warning of slowing growth ahead. But there was one bright spot: India, which is set to grow more than 6% this year. That's more than any other major economy.
My government will continue to take action to bring down inflation, to ease the cost of living for families.
Now, Britain's second biggest city has effectively declared itself bankrupt this week after revealing an £87 million deficit for the financial year.
And the Oscar goes to...
And the Oscar goes to...
The Oscar goes to...
Michelle Yeoh. RRR.
This is a beacon of hope and possibilities.
Sad news from Hollywood tonight. Actor Matthew Perry has died.
The world awaits what 2024 will bring.